Hello and welcome to Talking Good Game. It's the match preview of Wolves against West Ham United. Well, there might warning. There might be some positivity and there might be some optimism in this preview. It's been a while, but there might just be a little bit. Okay, so you have come to the right place. It is the Hammers Chat preview, but it just contains a little bit of positivity. How are you doing tonight, Gonzo? First of all.
I'm all right, mate. At a Christmas tree, I'm sure you'll be delighted to know I've taken a break from the Christmas tree going up. The young, I said the young, my youngest daughter has been lifted up to the top of the tree and planted a star atop of the Christmas tree. There's a debate going on in the house on whether we put tinsel on the tree or not. I'm not a fan of the tinsel. I just like the lights and the baubles. The wife likes the tinsel. We'll sort it out after this preview. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. Now, before we get into the preview, this video is sponsored by OneFootball. The link is in the description, so make sure you download it. It's completely free and keep you up to date with all your latest West Ham news. So at 6:30 on Wednesday, because our game kicks off at 7:30 on usual time, but it's also on an unusual broadcaster. At 6:30 on Wednesday, you will get the notification, ping ping, Wolves versus West Ham lineups out. I used on the Saturday, and it was very helpful to find out that Martin was starting in goal and that Sebastian Haller had been dropped. Is that what me and Gonzo want to see for Wednesday night? Well, we'll talk about it in a second. Before we do that, Gonzo, your thoughts on Wolves, please?
Yeah, a very good football club, and they've spent so many years in the doldrums. They were an iconic football club, really, many years ago, and they, for a long time, they seemed like they never get promoted. They had a couple of false dawns, let's say, in recent years, where they came up, stayed for a bit, went back down. But now it seems permanent. Now I think they're back. They've got really good investors. They're rich. They've got good contacts with, I think it's Jorge Mendes, quite possibly, who is the Portuguese super agent. And he has managed, they've got a bloody good manager. And they managed to work the market by using their wonderful they're basically wonderful allocation of scouts under Jorge Mendes' wing, and they've brought in some really good players, young and old. They've got a good youth set up. The future's really bright. The future's promising. Of course, they had a wobble. They qualified for Europe last year. Had a wobble at the start of the season. We see many teams do it, but they've rallied. And unlike Burnley, if you remember, who had to leave, get knocked out of the competition before they were to go on and regain their form, Wolves seem to have managed to sort of balance out during the group phase. They're still in they're still in both competitions in that sense. So you'd have to say a successful football club, mate.
I think you said they invested. I think the important thing is they invested wisely, and that's exactly what they've done. They've not frittered money away. They've done it perfectly. They've got a plan, and it's working wonderful for them. They're experiencing European football at the Molineux, and they've had some fantastic away days as well. They were over in Italy a few weeks ago. They just qualified on Thursday, drawing away in Portugal. I mean, this is what you want as a football fan. They're getting memories, and they're getting memories thrown at them in their numbers at the minute. They must be looking at the cup competition, whether it's Europa League or the FA Cup, the draw that's just been done, and thinking, fancy a shot at this, you know. They're high flying in the league as well. They've not lost a league game. I wrote it down, actually, because I was surprised how far back it goes. Since the start of September. They've only lost twice in the league this season as well, which you might think there's something tricking you here, because at the start of the season they were looking in trouble, as Gonzo alluded to, but they only lost 2 league games despite their hiccup. That's fantastic going, but nearly 3 months since they've lost a league game. Brilliant form by them. It's going to be one tough game for us. Nuno, though, was, before Emery got sacked, Nuno was the favourite to take over for him. He's since come down in the market a little bit. Brendan Rodgers has gone to the top after sort of hinting there was a clause in his contract. But would Nuno be the perfect man for Arsenal if he was to be enticed away?
Possibly not. I think he's the perfect man for Wolves. I think Rodgers is the perfect man for Leicester at the moment. It's a funny old time in the Premier League, actually. These formerly established large clubs, they're not doing so well, but I've seen this pattern before. I saw Liverpool dominate for years when I was growing up. Liverpool was so dominant, and then I saw them disappear and not win anything for 20, 30 years. So this can happen. I can't think of a bigger club than Liverpool. One, you know, I watched them all, mate. They were winning European Cups all the time, league titles, even better than Man United in their pomp, you'd have to say. So if you can see those guys take a dip for 20 odd years, don't rule out it happening to Man United, don't rule out it happening to Arsenal. And then, of course, somebody comes up and takes their place. And I do think, and Wolves are the sort of club we we strive to be. I think Wolves are an established top 8 club. You can decide amongst yourself whether you think that top 8 can then become a top 4 or a top 6, but certainly a top 8 club. I just think sometimes everything is set for you at a club. I think everything is set for him there. He understands the players. He understands the mentality of the club. The owners. I just think everything is good. Why would he walk into a situation like at Arsenal, where quite frankly it's quite toxic? He hasn't got the director of football there. He hasn't got the agents backing him up. The owner's not even in the country. Don't even go to games, for goodness sake. And then you've got quite a raucous fan base as well who are not very happy. I think he stays where he is.
I think so as well. I don't want to say it's an easy job at Wolves, but he's making it look like an easy job because of how well he's doing. If he gets a little bit of silverware, any silverware at Wolves, he becomes a hero straight away. If he manages to finish in the top 8 this season, he's done fantastically well. Come the end of the season, unless Liverpool win the title or Leicester do something, Nuno will be in the running for manager of the year. You'd certainly mention him now if it was you had to distribute the award now. I think he should stay put. I think he's got more chance of winning something with Wolves than Arsenal if he was to jump ship to the Emirates right now. I think he's in a perfect place with a perfect club. Are you envious of Wolves? Because I'll tell you something now. About every club in the league, up until the last couple of weeks, I would say maybe Leicester's overtaken them, but I would say Wolves are the club I'm looking at thinking, I wish that was us. It's a Europa League thing. I know you don't like it. Has Wolves changed your mind on Europa League, actually? Because if there's any club, you've always been against Europa League, so I've always needed an example to throw to you and say, look, it can be done. You can do it. You can compete in the Premier League and compete in Europa League, and you can do it with a small squad, because Wolves don't have a large amount of players. They're doing it on a really small quota of players. Has Wolves changed your mind yet?
I wouldn't mind going. I like what they're doing. Yeah, I wouldn't mind going into the Europa League if we were going to do it like that. We can't even get the balance of the FA Cup or the League Cup right. I have no faith that we can do what they're doing. So, to answer your question, yeah, I'm definitely jealous of them, Gio. There's just how streamlined the club is. Also, it's not just what you say about European football. I often talk about Leicester and how they have a balance to their team and a style of play and an ethos, and a ball winner, a dribbler, a passer, all that sort of stuff. Even though Wolves play a different system, I like what they do as well. And it's very clear what Wolves are trying to do. I like the balance that they have in midfield. I like the way they get width. I like the centre halves. I like all that stuff. I like It's just so clear. It's so clear and transparent what they're doing. It's a real clear direction to the club, and I think there are comparisons between them and Leicester. Very slick, very well run. Yeah, of course, I'd be silly not to be jealous of either of those two clubs.
Last question on Wolves, same one as always. Who do you admire? I know who you're going to say. I know fine who you're going to say.
Okay, well, I'm going. My first part is Adama Traore. I just think he's wonderful. I think he's a brilliant player. I don't know how his career has stuttered in the way that he did. He started off at Barcelona, I think he went to Villa, Middlesbrough, now at Wolves. A bit of a journeyman, but perhaps he's found a home. If we were ever... See, the thing is, we missed a boat on signing players like that. We had a chance to sign him, we didn't. If anyone was almost going to play and almost take Antonio's place, not that I want him to take Antonio's place, but in terms of a player that's quick and strong, I mean, he's as strong as an ox. He's absolutely brilliant. He's rapidly quick. His ball skills are just to die for. And I just think he's an absolutely brilliant player. Not they don't have other good players. I mean, I like the old and the new in terms of Moutinho and Neves in the centre. I think that's really nice. Dendoncker has proved me wrong. Didn't think he was a player. Looks like he may well be one. A Bolly I like as well. They have good width. Is it Doherty? Is that his name? Doherty,
yeah. Yeah,
he's good. Yeah, I mean, and obviously the striker. I know you like the striker who's been in good form as well of late, as well, Jimenez. And but in particular, Adama Traore, and one who's not featured so much this season. I really like coming through the ranks of lovely, silky footballer as young Gibbs White. They've got so much going for him. Really good football club.
Yeah, Moutinho is my favourite Wolves player by far. He's just the master in there. I think is absolutely superb. It's funny, I always think Neves gets more praise than Moutinho, but I've never understood it. I think Neves is a damn fine player. Whenever I watch Wolves, it's Moutinho that stands out head and shoulders for me on that football pitch. But Neves gets applauded. It must be because he hits 30-yard bangers now and again or something. I don't know what it is, but Moutinho is just class for me. Jimenez is someone I really liked as well. I'll tell you something though, I've been really disappointed in Jota this season. Last season he really came on at the end of it and I thought, what a player he is. But when I watched him this season, I don't know, I've been disappointed a little bit. Traore is a funny one because I never wanted him when he was at Borough and West Ham were linked to him. I never wanted him because I thought his end product was poor. But I'll tell you something, this season in particular, I've been impressed. And you've got to attribute that to Nuno. You've got to say Nuno's got that out of him because I never seen that at Borough. I've seen the pace, I've seen the strength, but I saw almost like an erratic Traore when he got into the final third. It's like, what are you going to do? He had a bit of the Theo Walcott about him. He was fantastic up until he had to do something. But this season he's got that now. And this is what I like about Nuno. He's switched his formation up a little bit. He's got rid of one of his centre midfielders so he can get Traore in there. He doesn't have to play right wing back and can get him up there alongside Jimenez and Jota. Superb team goals, really, really good players from back to front, left to right, really. But anyway, let's talk about West Ham. Now, one little bit of team news, but before I mention that, Gonzo, winning 11, you don't change your winning team. Yes or no?
Normally, no.
But
it's the game. It's the gap between the games. We were going Saturday to Saturday, not a single chance. And I would still say pick the same team, but it does throw something up in there. I do think there will be changes, Gio.
It might be a forced one. Antonio's got strain for the game. It's unsure if he's. I don't think he's injured. I think it's just too much too soon, perhaps, at Stamford Bridge. You know, he played 70 minutes of football. He probably wasn't expected to start this soon on, but desperate times call for desperate situations. Got flung in. I thought his tank was just empty at Stamford Bridge. I thought he'd just given everything. And the ball landed him a yard away from him and he couldn't even move for it. He was just done. But I think he's got a little bit of a strain, so I think that's a worry. Is that where you would maybe be looking to make the change just to keep it fresh?
Well, if that's the case, but obviously with him coming back from injury, yeah, I mean, he possibly would need a week's rest anyway, wouldn't he? Which I'd not considered. Yeah, if there's even a remote risk, that's an unexpected win for us against Chelsea. Realistically, we can. Don't want us to, but realistically, we could lose this game. And then as long as Antonio's back and we can either beat Arsenal or Southampton, one of those, then we get another 3 points. And, you know, you do that for the rest of the season, you're safe. And at the moment, that's what we've got to be looking for. So I would rather wrap him up in cotton wool, give him a week's rest, say to him, don't even train for a couple of days, go and put your feet up, mate. And, you know, whatever. Come in for a massage, whatever you want to say.
I do think you need him on the bench, though. I do think you need him. Just in case, I do think you need him on the bench. Is there any other changes you would make, given the short distance, or?
I probably wouldn't make any. There's a temptation to drop Felipe Anderson and bring Masuaku in maybe for a little bit more pace. But I just think I'd probably keep it exactly as it is because it sends out the right message. And I think what sends out the wrong message, you've got to keep that defence the same, by the way, because they kept a clean sheet. Goalkeeper, obvious, no point talking about it, is there? It would be wrong to bring Diop back just because his suspension is over. That would definitely send out the wrong message. The only other, again, whilst we're talking about Antonio, you've got to take into account Noble and Snodgrass's age as well. Can they play 3 games in a week or 3 games in 8 days, as it might be? So maybe something needs to be done there. I probably would keep it the same because our tails are up, you know.
The only advantage we've got, slight advantage, is Wolves played on Sunday, we played on Saturday. Another advantage we've got is our next game's on Monday rather than the weekend as well. So we've had, in terms of having to play a midweek game, we've had it good. This is as good as it can get in terms of playing Saturday, then not having to play again until Monday. So we do have that in our locker a little bit. I wouldn't touch the back four either. I think Diop's form was shaky anyway, but it was a case of won't he ever drop him? Well, he's been forced to, and he can't get back in now. Pellegrini can't touch that back four, in my opinion. The only risk is that Creswell's then going to be going up against Traore, and that's cause for concern. Just for the running, it's just a sheer race. Traore will beat him. But like you alluded to in the review from your Chelsea game, we played deeper against Chelsea. If we do that against Wolves, it's a case of, well, you only give him 10 yards to run into, then Cresswell's then got a bit of a chance. If you give him a 30-yard to run into, then Cresswell's got no chance. So you need to really help Cresswell there. The Antonio thing, it's a shame. He's just back from injury. This was a month in time. You say, nah, leave him up front, keep him up front. But I too, I think I'm expecting Haller to come in for Antonio. But I'd certainly keep Antonio on the bench. It does also mean that Antonio's then fresh for Arsenal on Monday night, whose defence is just appalling. One of the worst defences in the league at the minute. You want Antonio up for that one. The one change I would do, that's not forced, is the one you just said you would consider, and that's taking Masuaku in for Anderson, pushing Fornals into the middle. That's the one I would do. And it's also because I think Felipe Anderson at the minute, he's a bit of a dilemma. Pellegrini's got to do something with him because, was it 6 games or something now? Anderson's been subbed off, and two or three of them has been at half time. So there's an issue here. And then they had that little heated debate on the touchline when he got subbed off at Stamford Bridge. So there's something going on there, right? Now, we didn't drop him. It would almost be a tactical sub to have on your bench, so that I think Anderson's best time in a game is from the 70th minute onwards. When the defence is tired, he can stretch the game, he can run, he can move into positions. But you've almost got to get through the first 70 minutes until you hit Anderson's optimum time. Well, actually, I would actually have him on the bench so that when he comes on, he's there, he's fresh, he's going into his peak time, he's going up against a tired Wolves back line. These guys have been played week in, week out for Wolves. Conor Cody, I don't know if he's had a rest all season, bless him. Bowley as well, he's been playing constantly. So I would be looking to get Anderson on the pitch for the last 20-30 minutes, regardless of the score. If we're winning 1-0, great, counter-attacking. Need a goal? Great, get him on the pitch. Drawing? Great, get him on. There's not a circumstance you could throw at me that I would say, don't bring him on for the last 20 minutes, unless we're down to 10 men or something. But that's the only change I would do. Is your optimism... is it creaked up a little bit, Gonzo?
A bit. So it's not a case of I don't think there's any way we can win. I don't think that. I think there's it would not be a huge surprise if we went there and got something. But it doesn't mean that I think we will. But I think we have a chance now. I didn't feel like we had a chance before, and it does a hell of a thing for confidence winning a game, particularly winning a game like that and putting a feel-good factor in. And the goalkeeper thing can't be discounted. And as I say, it's not because he's brilliant. I think he possibly isn't a brilliant goalkeeper. I love the story. But I think what we've got is an established professional journeyman goalkeeper in there who can communicate with his back four rather than, dare I say it, a useless goalkeeper that can't catch. And that's going to give... That's going to give the defence an awful lot of confidence, and I do think that is really important as well. And clearly they like him as well. Clearly the team like him. He's obviously a popular guy on the training ground, which is going to mean he's going to be a popular guy in the dressing room. He won't have been in that dressing room very much, I guess since Fabianski's been injured, he's been... he'll have been in the dressing room because he'll have been on the bench. But I think that brings a different dynamic, actually. Being on the bench, maybe you're not possibly doesn't feel like he can be the loudest voice in the dressing room. When you're in the team... Him going into the next game, I bet he's the one clapping, come on lads, and he's giving it all of that, and maybe he's getting a bit of his personality out of it. Personalities are important in any workplace, so I think that's going to help, mate, really. So I think there are reasons to be optimistic, and I think the work rate, the endeavour, as we discussed, the defensive back line, the sitting a bit deeper, not playing kamikaze offside traps, there are reasons to be hopeful.
Yeah, I just wish it wasn't Wolves away. It's one of the toughest games we could have after that Chelsea one. You almost need I wish it was Arsenal at home, to be honest with you. If that game was next, I would be thinking, this is brilliant. We can now go get the next win here. But it's Wolves away, and it's a different beast compared to Chelsea. They're probably harder working than Chelsea are. Maybe they don't have the talented players, but Lampard. As Nicky pointed out, that Lampard set up to play with Roberto in goal and got mugged right off when Martin was in goal. He was set up to come down the line and cross it. That is, you only get that trick once. That trick's gone now. We'll be looking at our game against Chelsea, and the only thing he will have to think is it going to be Antonio or Aller up front? Who are they going to play up front? The rest of it's probably going to be the same. He might bring in Diop, doesn't really make a difference. What else? So the surprise factor that we had on Saturday does not exist anymore. Okay, that's gone. Unless Pellegrini does something different, that's the challenge for the manager. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do? That's why I would like to see Masuaku come in on the left and we move Fornals in. So actually, it's different. We've now got pace going down that side. That their right centre back is going to have Masuaku bombing at him, and Doherty's going to have Creswell bombing at him. We're going to keep going down there. When they come down that right hand side, we've got two left backs defending essentially. It's tough to break down. That's why I want to see Pellegrini do something different. Just keep them guessing a little bit. My optimism's gone up. I think I don't want to piss on the parade too much about Martin, but he had an easy game on Saturday. It was an easy game. So, like you said, it's a wonderful story, but he's not been tested yet. He didn't get bombarded like Roberto has been, or like Fabianski has been. He had a few saves to make. He made them comfortably. To be fair, I think one or two of them was a bit... At times he fumbled them or something. Oh no, here we go. But he recovered well. But he's got that over and done with. His confidence will be high. Defence's confidence will be high.
And just on that, Gio, sorry, but to stop you in your tracks, those will have been nerves.
Yeah.
He's going to be those spilling it. He would have been absolutely thinking in his mind, oh goodness me, don't be Roberto, don't be Roberto, don't be Roberto. He's probably saying it to himself. Those nerves will not be as stark for the next game. So actually, maybe he doesn't fumble it. So I think that will help as well.
I think he got scared. You know when Chelsea had that cross deflected and hit the post?
Yeah.
He got scared there. You could see him visibly after thinking, bloody hell, I'll go off with that. Because when the ball started coming, he stood still and then he almost reacted once it thundered off the post. He sort of jumped over as if they, oh crap. And I think that shook him a little bit. And I think it shook a lot of people in the crowd. Like, oh no, this is almost just looped in and stuff. But he got more confident as the game went on. He started time wasting a bit more. He started keeping the ball at his feet, waiting for someone to come in the box. Then he would pick it up and stuff. He had a little bit of swagger about him. I think that hopefully that continues on Wednesday. So optimism's creeping up a little bit. But here's the all-important question. Can I get your final thoughts and your score prediction, please, Gonzo?
Final thoughts. I also think it's a really tough game for us to go and play. I really do. It's the right, as you say, it's the wrong game at the wrong time. Not to just repeat what you said. And I also thought that Chelsea had an awful lot of shots against us. I do think, did Martin have a string of world-class saves to make? No, but I think he almost made his own luck by giving the defence confidence. So I think, it's not just all about him, it's about that defensive shape. I wouldn't be annoyed for us to go up there and try and get a draw and try and do what we did. That would not annoy me in any way, shape or form. I do feel, though, for that system to work, you need a ton of hard workers in there, and quite crucial and pivotal to the system was just Antonio's constant hustling of whoever had the ball in their back line, and you're just not going to get that if Haller's playing. It's just hard for me to be confident. I do think we'll have some tired players, and the real key is we're not just playing a good team, we're playing a good team who are used to playing twice a week, and we're not used to playing twice a week. This is a doddle for them, and also yes, they've had an extra day. We've had an extra day, but they've not had to travel. So, and they're used to playing 2 games a week and used to flying and travelling as well. I can't see. I think we'll narrow it. I don't think we're going to get thrashed, but I do think we're going to lose, and I can see it being sort of 1-2-0 to Wolves, really.
Yeah, I'm going between two. I'm floating between two scores here in my head. It's difficult to sort of choose between them, really. I think it's going to be a tough game for us. This is a team that's in good nick at the minute. They've not lost in 3 months in the league. So, are we good enough to go up there after winning at Stamford Bridge and turn up and win at Wolves? I'm not so sure we are. So I'm flirting between 2-2 and 2-1 Wolves, but I think I'll go for 2-1 Wolves. I think we'll narrowly lose. By the way, if you offer me a point right now, I would bite your hand off. I would be delighted with the point. To get 4 points in that 2 games and going to Arsenal at home, you'd fancy us off the back of it. I just hope that the endeavour's there, the effort's there, the commitment's there, and if all that's there, when we get beat, I think it's not acceptable. Acceptable is the wrong word, but do you know what I mean? You can. Well, it is acceptable. You can accept it. We've just lost a better team, a hard place to go, but I think the performance is almost just as important, if not more important, than the result itself on Wednesday night. We need to see that Chelsea wasn't a cup final way of thinking. We need to see that this is almost like a fresh West Ham rather than a just get up for this one game kind of thing. So I'm going to go for 2-1 Wolves. Anyway, the game is on Amazon Prime on Wednesday night, in case you don't know. It's a 7:30 kick-off, so if you wish, you can join us at 6:30. We'll do a little build-up show with the team lineups from both teams, have a little quick 5-minute discussion, and then we'll crack on and watch the game, and we'll be doing our review. Anyway, thank you for joining us in this preview. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new around here, and we'll see you on Wednesday night. Catch you in a bit.